Got a house down the back road, got a flag on the front porch, got a dog named Waylon. I got a driveway that needs paving. I got a boat with 2 strokes, a couple pairs of Jeep, and we can laugh jokes. I got friends in low places, yeah, life is what you make. I'm like now in the Hall of Fame, as far as I walk the ramps, in low places, yeah, life is what you make.
Oh, let me mute this, my friends. I gotta turn this down. One of these days I'll get it right. There we go. Welcome everyone. So we're trying a little bit of different stuff here. What I want to know, if you could please comment, whether in the chat or in the normal comments, if you're not watching this live, what is the best time? So we posted on Instagram last week. I think almost 70% said they wanted it in the PM. So later in the day. We were doing these at 11:30 in the morning, and we want to do what you guys want. So what I will say is 9 o'clock's a little late for me. I get up at 4:30 every day, and but I will say this: if you guys want it at 9 p.m., that's totally cool. So we're going to do these every Monday. This is the the date or the weekly trade recap where we go over the weekly watch list, answer questions, just kind of whatever. But if you can comment what the best time of the day is roughly, what is best for you. I appreciate everybody here. Morning, afternoon, evening. That's probably good. Those are the 3 options: morning, afternoon, evening. Anything outside of that, hit the road. So anyway, I would like to thank everyone for being here. We got a lot to talk about. Was excited to see TLRY do well on earnings tonight. It is a higher price stock, but feel pretty good about this lighting up the weed sector a little bit. Let me look at chat. Cool. Okay. 8 p.m., Tanner. I like the sounds of that. 8 p.m., I'd be totally cool if you guys would vote for 8. My bedtime's about 9:30, so we're pushing my bedtime right here. So 8 p.m. would be good. But anyway, let's move on. So a couple things I want to talk about. We're breaking down the watch list. Check out StocksToTrade.com/watch list. Let me jump in chat over here and make sure I got the links for you guys, because I got a lot for you. Let me get there and get you these for links. You guys, because I got a lot. Let me mute that. You probably just got some feedback. So a couple things I want to talk about. This is what we went over this morning in the Instagram live. And then StocksToTrade/watch list. Watch list is free. Please subscribe. And then also make sure to, if you haven't already, ring the bell. So because we're going to be doing these live events each week. So ring that bell, click the link on the bell. That way you get notified. If you're not subscribed, if you ended up here randomly, subscribe to the channel. Would love to, we put out, I think we're putting out 3 or 4 videos a week now. A lot of them are educational as well as these live events. So be sure, I like 8 p.m. I still like that. Anyway, so let's get to work and break down these stocks as well as what we're looking at into the week. Oh, I got more for it. I got more links. Too much going on. Wednesday night, I'm doing a in-depth webinar where we're breaking down patterns. So that link is in chat. The link will be in the comments if you're not here live. It's that Gendy link, but just jump in the chat if you're here live. It's free. Who doesn't like free? It's 8 p.m. Wednesday night. We're going to get more into patterns. Everybody likes to talk about patterns, what patterns to track, what patterns to identify. That is Wednesday night. Also, last link, and then we're moving on. New podcast this week. More free stuff. Hey, man, who doesn't like free? One thing that we're going to do is in that podcast this week, I went over really how I pick a lot of these tickers. So, how does a lot of you might say, how does a stock end up on the watch list? How do you pick this one? How do you decide that this is a potential trade? And that podcast, I go in depth how I pick them. HYRE is one of the best ones. Kind of a weird business model. But, we put it on the watch list back on Valentine's Day, and it's a doubler. It's officially a doubler. It was $4 a month ago. Today, or actually Friday, it hit $8. So listen to that podcast. It is time. It is time, my friends. It's time to get to work. So let me... I'm such an idiot with these Hangouts. I'm still learning Hangouts. There's my screen share. Screen share. Entire window. I got nothing to hide. Let's go. All right. Now I can get this out of the way. All right. Going back to last week, the favorite one I want to talk about is NVTA. And this one is still in play this week. You can see that one of the reasons we liked it, I don't want to oversimplify, but we love these 52-week breaks. And NVTA, you can see going back to last spring, look at how it gradually trends higher. Trends, gets news, gets volume, gaps up, and then runs. So from 9 to 15 with like barely any red days. Goes into chop mode. What I'm trying to show you here is these are the stocks you want to focus on. These repetitive patterns, these stocks that have made, the stocks that gap up and run in the past are the stocks that gap up and run. So you see it here. Look at that volume spike. Look at that break. A month of green days. Goes into chop mode here for a while, gaps down, grinds down. Notice another gap up. Now, I would see there's no trade here back in January, but notice it gaps up from 12 to 13. Look at that gap. I know it's kind of maybe hard to see unless you're in full screen mode. So what I love about that is the stock has a history of gapping. Now, why did we focus on this back in February? This stock has been on the weekly watch list, I think 3 or 4 times. Gaps up, runs for a week and a half. So now you see that pattern repeating. Then last week, it got put on because gaps up and proceeds to run. So right here, going back to this is the 11th. So on the 11th, the stock gapped up that morning. It was on our watch because you can see here on the 8th, stock closed at a 52-week high. And we know, well, we don't know, but we have seen that when this stock closes at the 52-week high after consolidating, it tends to gap up and run. And right there's your proof in the pudding. Poof. Proof in the pudding, not the poof in the pudding. But you can see that going back right here on the 8th, it closed at the 52-week high, gapped up the next morning, and then the stock was up every day last week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It closed at a new high on Friday, and then guess what? Gaps up this morning. Now, It did sell off. You can see it sold off this, middle of the day today. But I mean, come on. We're talking about this stock back here on the 11th. The 11th. It was 21 bucks. It was 25 this morning. If you're not taking some profits in a week, I mean, that's $1 a share a day. I mean, even if you have a small position size, you're making $1 a share a day and it gaps up on Monday morning. That's a trade that you got to take profits. You got to look to exit. Zach says, did the watch list go out yesterday? I didn't receive it. Yes, Zach, I know it went out. If you didn't get it, standard thing, I'm going to tell you to check your spam. I got it. And I've got my personal email as well as my StocksToTrade email. I got the watch list. So I would do one of two things, Zach. Resubscribe. Go to that link, drop your email in there, make sure you're on the list. If you didn't get it, check your spam. BPTH. So we're backing up to 3.8 and then into 3.11. I'm going to zoom in. This was pretty cool. So right here we are. Trader Expo last week. If any of you were at the Traders Expo, thank you. If I met any of you, it was awesome. Super cool to be there live. I think back to, here we are on the 11th, Monday morning, looking at this thing to potentially gap up and run, or not gap up, to catch a bid on volume and move. And you can look at that, 23 to 32 on the 11th. What more do you want? You can make $1, $2, $3, $4, $10 a share if you're perfect. Nobody's going to hit that bottom or that top. And then it pulls back and re-breaks late on Monday. So BPTH. And then Tuesday morning, we looked at that kind of dip and rip type idea we talk about. Tuesday morning, the stock opened up 29, touched 38 on Tuesday morning. Same week open, red to green type move. After that, BPTH fell apart. It's fading every day. But, come on. Monday morning, maybe you make $5 a share. Tuesday morning, maybe you make $5 to $10 a share. That's a trade we're looking for. So, Daryl, what I would tell you is, how do I prepare that watch list? Scroll up a little bit, Daryl, and that link that I dropped to the Steady Trade podcast, check that out. I think that will be useful to you. Then also, I do a lot of these weekly webinars. If you are a StocksToTrade customer, you've got access to all of these webinars under the bonus content. And I take you through, starting out from zero to building a watch list. Now, these links I'm showing you now on the university site, those are only available if you are a StocksToTrade customer. So, Daryl, if you're a customer, go to the university. If you're not a customer, I got something for you. This episode 89, I talk about the Valentine stock watch list. I break it all down. Exactly. Steven and I discuss why I picked the stocks, why they're on there, etc. So, but in summary, Daryl, I'm looking for stocks with news, chart patterns that are breaking out. Now, you might not know a breakout chart pattern. Again, scroll up that the Gendy.com link is Wednesday night's webinar. We're going over chart patterns in that. I really go over it there. So KNO says BS, man. What's the BS, KNO? Welcome aboard, but Anyway, so BPTH was solid on Monday and Tuesday, faded after that. And then other than that, you're not going to get every stock nailed. NVTA was solid. RCII and Alqua didn't do a whole lot, as well as AQB. So overall, the best ones were NVTA and BPTH. Other than that, kind of mixed. So, okay, so let's talk about this week. So going into this week, some higher price stocks, but Microsoft was green today. Yeti did a green to red move today. Really like Yeti as as what I would call a cult stock. I really compare Yeti to GoPro a lot. GoPro, you can make fun of that fade, but GoPro, when it IPO'd, it went as high as 100. Now I know it faded all the way back to single digits, but I love the strength of Yeti. I love the breakout. TEUM. I went over this one at the Traders Expo in the low fours. So last Monday morning, we talked about TEUM right here. It closed strong on Monday afternoon. And I mean, a little bit of choppiness, but green every day and green again today. So TEUM, a solid idea. I would look for red to greens on this as well. NVTA is in play again. And then SLNO. SLNO was interesting this morning. Gave back the move, but what I like about SLNO, and I mean, you can kind of call it a win. You look at SLNO, I said, and this is yesterday, okay? This isn't like some sort of hindsight bias. Yesterday, I said, after a week of constant, crazy low float runners, this was Friday's stock du jour. Ideally, Monday, we'll be looking for this to dip into the market open and then a reclaim of Friday's highs. Okay, so you can see SLNO, it did that dip. Now it didn't get all the way back to Friday's highs, ended up failing, but you can see the red to green move. It opened red, held VWAP, which is what we like to see. And then once it went green at 270, spiked to 319. You had to be quick. You had to exit fast. But these squeezers, we saw it with ATOS again today. ATOS was a solid trade on that. You look at that kind of nothing much going on, volume spike, breaks the whole dollar, half dollar of 4 and went to 530. And then, ultimately was choppy through midday. But that's why we like these former runners from the week before. You get those big spikes when they break, when they go red to green, when they break whole dollar, half dollars. So what are my feelings on Lyft since they'll be listing? At the end of the day, you got to kind of wait and see. But one of the reasons I featured HYRE, and, go to that Valentine's post, go to the podcast. The proof is in the pudding, okay? I talked about HYRE as a sympathy to Uber and Lyft. And, I mean, HYRE on the 14th was a $4 stock, hit 8. So I know a lot of people have been trading HYRE and DCAR as sympathy to Lyft. I wouldn't touch Lyft until it IPOs, until it trades for a few days or weeks. I mean, look at Yeti, okay? You had plenty of time to get in Yeti when it, look at right here. Yeti traded for months and didn't do a whole lot. Then back to February, actually on Valentine's Day, this thing gapped up. I believe it was earnings, and then it ripped. I don't think there's an edge. Now, maybe some traders can do it, but I don't think there's an edge trading IPOs the first day, the first couple days. Let them set up and look for breaks. ACB, I love ACB as well. Yeah, red to green on TEUM for sure, Himini. Nice to see you, Himini. Been a while, brother. I'm a recent customer of the platform. Can you show me how to get to the university? Just go to university.stockstotrade.com. It'll ask you to log in, and then you'll see all the bonus content. So in summary, TLRY, all of the weed stocks are in play. So I got to get out of here, everyone. I appreciate it. It's approaching my bedtime. I think we'll do 8 p.m. next week. That way I'm not up quite so late. But HYRE, we broke down tonight in the strategy session in Stocks to Trade Pro. Earnings are out. Stock gapped up. Former runner. I don't expect you to be able to read my chicken scratch handwriting, but we're looking for that reclaim of 75 tomorrow. If it reclaims 75, I think this thing could hit 100 in the next few days. Otherwise, if it fails and it breaks down, breaks that 70 level, you stop out. Now, if you don't like $75 stocks, I totally get it. ACB's in play. NBEV, APHA keeps hitting highs of days tonight. So all these former weed stock runners are in play. So what does the gap indicate? God's witness. Basically that gap, and actually let me shut off the screen share. We're almost done, but it's a good question. Why can I never figure out Google Hangouts? There we go. Okay. So the gap up means, and it's a good question, God's witness. So this is your previous day's close. So say the stock closed at $10 on Friday. Okay. Today's Monday. If the opening price of the stock is considerably higher. So say the stock opens up at $1 at the 9:30 open. That's considered a gap up. Okay. Now, a lot of people will consider certain percentages a gap or not a gap. But what you're seeing is the stock is opening considerably higher than it closed the previous day. So that's why you see that candle with a gap. You've got your candle. Hopefully you understand candlesticks. If not, there's a lot of great resources out there. But you're seeing the difference between the close and the open. That is the gap up. Now, normally, that's considered bullish because that's showing you that traders are like, get me in this stock. I want, so like we talked about NVTA, a week ago, it closed at the 52-week high a week ago Friday on the 8th, and then it gapped up on Monday. Traders were like, get me in this thing. Now, the crowd may be wrong, but the idea is there's buyers, people want to get in this stock. That's what creates a gap up. Now, normally there's news behind a gap up. Earnings, contract wins, etc. So, all right, everyone. Great night. I'm excited about weed stocks again. TLRY. Now, have a plan, trade it appropriately, but love it when the air quotes market leader. I'm kind of joking when I call TLRY the market leader of the weed stocks, but remember this stock made that big move from 40 to 300 last fall. Their numbers were up across the board. Sales up, per unit pricing is up. They've got deals with Anheuser-Busch. A lot of these other companies, excited about the week. And then the other stocks were Microsoft. I mean, if you're a part-time trader, you don't have to worry about waking up to a 20% gap down on Microsoft. Yeti over 30. Yeti went red to green today. NVTA still in play. SLNO probably dead, but SLNO had a nice red to green move today. So, all right, everyone, hit those links in chat. Join the watch list. It's free. Ring the bell so you get notified when we do these. Comment on what your favorite time is for these. Please pick 8 p.m. I would much prefer 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. And check out the latest podcast and the Wednesday night webinar. I give. So, all right, everyone, have a great night. See you in the morning. Best of luck with your trading.